Greetings YouTubers and tubettes to the second video in a series in which we will upholster our finger jointed pine cabinet for our little Fender 5F1 chassis. On the first video we did the back door, and now we're going to start off the second one by doing the speaker baffle. Speaker baffles are deceptively simple. There's more to it than just stapling some old cloth over a piece of wood. Because there's nothing more hideous than an old saggy Grille Cloth on an amplifier. So we have to be sure that it is completely taut, and also that the lines on the Grille Cloth, if it has them, are vertical and horizontal. We don't want this thing to be off kilter, and today we'll see how to do that. Now it's my plan to use as the Grille Cloth this very special type of material that I found in a local upholstery shop. They use it to upholster deck chairs around swimming pools. It's completely waterproof, it's fairly stiff, and has a real nice pattern, and also, as you can see, it's very, very porous, which will allow the sound to come through without attenuating the treble frequencies. To be honest, the thickness and inflexibility of this material make it very difficult to work with. But I really like the pattern and the durability of it, and for that reason I think it's worth the extra effort. If you use a more cloth-like flexible material to cover your speaker baffle, you're going to have a lot easier time than I am. But watching me struggle with this should give you some pointers on how to approach the task. Okay, step one, you decide which way you want the grain or pattern of your material to go. I wanted to have the black be horizontal, so I laid down the material like so, and then I laid a square around it, and instead of marking this with a pen or something like that, which might bleed through, I've used masking tape to mark the line to be cut. Then making sure that your line matches the pattern and it's square. I just use scissors and cut out along the inside of the masking tape. Okay, now first step is you set the speaker baffle down on the material that you've cut, and be sure that you align it so that it's absolutely square, in this case perfectly parallel with the pattern that's on the Grille Cloth. Second step, and this is optional but it helps, is I put a brace across the top of the baffle to hold it down. Not super tight, but tight enough that when I start to stretch and pull on the material, the baffle just won't move all around, and I'm able to actually pull the material from under the baffle. In other words, the baffle is not pushed down so hard that I can't move the material. Here's that cross piece. It's just a piece of angle iron held with two C-clamps. Like I said, that's optional. Next step, I'm going to take a hairdryer and I'm going to heat the material up, both to expand it and to make it more flexible. Okay, so it's going to make a lot of noise, so I'll do this with the camera off. But take a hairdryer and heat up the material. If you're using a cloth material, you might even just spray it with a slight kind of water vapor to just slightly dampen it. Don't get it wet or it might water spot. But very slightly dampen, the cloth will expand and allow you to stretch it even more. Then when it dries, it shrinks back and it'll be tight as a drum head. Now for the tools that we're going to use to hold the cloth down to the baffle, you can use just an old conventional hand-operated staple gun, which I've used for years, or you can go over to Harbor Freight and pick up a pneumatic crown stapler like this. And I'm using little short-legged 1/4 inch staples in this gun. It just makes it a lot simpler to use. But this is just fine here if this is what you've got. Next up, cut squares out of each corner so that the point of the square is exactly beneath the corner of the baffle. Has to be exact. Then using the hairdryer, I'm going to warm up this side of the Grille Cloth over here to make it very flexible, very pliable. Then after the material is heated up and very flexible, I'm going to stretch it as tight as I can and wrap it around and staple it all along this side. Okay, here's a line of staples. Don't get too close to this corner or this corner because we're going to do a miter corner. Also, right here where the speaker basket's going to come around the rim of the speaker, we're going to end up cutting away the Grille Cloth right here to make clearance for it. So that staple may be a little too close. If it is, I'll pull it out and put another staple in down here. But you can see where the speaker's going to come around here, and it may interfere with the Grille Cloth. Now that I have this side of the Grille Cloth stapled down, I'm going to use the hairdryer to heat up the central part of the Grille Cloth here to make it real pliable and stretchable, and then I'm going to heat up over here on this side and then pull as hard as I can, wrap and staple right along here. So now I have the two opposite sides stretched, wrapped around and stapled as tight as I could possibly make it. Now we rotate the baffle 90 degrees, hold it down with our crossbar. Like I said, this is optional, but it really helps me with this thick, this is really tough Grille Cloth to get stretched. It's not very flexible, so I need all the help I can get. If you're using a real kind of a cloth type of Grille Cloth, you'll have a much easier time. Alrighty, and now I'm going to repeat the process with these two flaps. Okay, now that I've stapled down this side, we're going to do mitered corners here. And as you recall from the back door video, I'm just going to take a razor blade and cut right through here diagonally, remove the top triangle and the one underneath. Okay, so now I cut diagonally, remove the top triangle, the lower triangle, and then bring them together in a perfect miter joint and staple right across, holding it down. Like this, with one staple bridging both pieces and holding them down in a nice flat mitered corner. I'm going to do the same over here, and then I'm going to use the hairdryer, warm up this side, stretch the heck out of it, also warm it up in here, wrap it around, staple it, and then do mitered corners on these two corners here. Now, after you've stapled down all four sides of the Grille Cloth and you've done your mitered corners, set the speaker down, align it with the holes in the baffle, and cut away any Grille Cloth that may try to come under the speaker, between the speaker and the baffle. The problem being, if you have like a piece of Grille Cloth in here and tighten these two screws down, you will warp the basket here, and you may, it's very likely that you'll cause the voice coil to start rubbing on the magnet, which would effectively destroy the speaker. So be sure that you cut away so there's nothing between your speaker and the flat baffle. Here's our baffle without the speaker. I also cut the relief here for the fuse holder. And it's ready to go. I'm going to flip it over and we're going to give it the acid test for speaker Grille Cloth. Okay, press down gently all the way around. See if you have any soft spots. I don't feel any. This is nice and tight. It's like almost like a drum head. Also, you're probably wondering why I didn't use glue. Okay, here's the deal. If this thing in the summer gets hot and starts to get a little saggy, all you have to do is come around here, pull out a few staples, heat it up with your hairdryer, pull it a little tighter, and restaple it. If it's all glued down, all bets are off. Okay, so in this case, no glue, just staples, and a lot of stretching and careful folding and stapling. Final step, I'm going to heat up my trusty awl and melt holes for the mounting screws through the speaker Grille Cloth material. Okay, now we have some nice, clean, round screw holes, and it's ready to install. Well, here's the cabinet with the Grille Cloth and baffle installed. Fortunately, I still have a little gap here for my upholstery material. It's going to come around on both sides, top and bottom. And I also have a feeling that this cloth is going to look really nice with that brown crocodile grain leatherette. Okay, so the next big job is going to be covering the cabinet itself. I can't resist a little preview of what that's going to look like. I really think this brown and the colors, the kind of burnt orange and straw and all in the Grille Cloth is really going to look nice. Well, that brings us to the end of this second video. In the first one, we covered the back door of the cabinet. In this one, we covered the speaker baffle. And now in the third one, we're going to cover the entire cabinet. I think it best to quit here because the third video in which we are going to cover the entire cabinet is going to have to be fairly lengthy and complicated. So I'm going to draw this to a close and get started on that third video. So I hope you enjoyed this one, that you picked up some pointers, and that you'll stay tuned for part 3, in which we bring this grand challenge here to a hopefully very satisfactory conclusion. Thanks for watching. Really appreciate your time and interest. If you haven't subscribed, please do so. But regardless, I hope to see you again in the near future. Bye for now.